Hello, hello, hello. Hey, this is Ken. Welcome back to a long overdue chat with Ken's Comics. Um, I am Ken, and if you're watching this, why are you watching this? You should be sleeping. Um, but hey, here's why I'm on this late at night, guys. I've been away for a minute, or 2 weeks. The Kickstarter went great. A lot has been happening, and right in the smack in the middle of it, I had a very busy weekend with the family, and it's all been really exhausting and a lot to take in. So, as much as I wanted to get to doing my regular videos, it's taken me a minute to reacclimate, figure out what I was going to do and say, and I just kept putting it off because I wasn't ready to do a nice show or performance or do the sketching or whatever. So instead, though, I'm going to try and get back on the horse here and explain to you where I've been, what's been going on, and what's next. Let's break away real quick from the comic book stuff because that's me and that's Ken's Comics, and you know all about that. If you follow me at all, and if you're watching this, you must be someone that follows me. Then you know I've been running a Kickstarter, and you know it went double funded, hopefully. And I will talk about that in a minute. So after that, right in the middle of the ending of that Kickstarter, my daughter had her first national dance competition uh, in Ohio. So we went to Ohio, beautiful Clyde, Ohio, for a dance comp. Stayed a few days. It was a lovely time. It was a lot of work. It's really fun, and it was our first fully back to normal thing that we've done. You know, we had a couple of small competitions this year, very short and brief. And it was like a month ago we had one in Frankenmuth where we just did block scheduling, and that means you only perform your routines and you go home, they sanitize, and then the next studio comes in. You never see the other studios competing. And for those that don't know, my daughter Emily is on a competitive dance team. She does dance and musical theater, and she's been doing that most of her life for the bulk of like 10 years now, as she's 13. And with COVID happening, it's been the worst part of this whole ordeal for me was watching her not get that chance, not get to be on stage, not to perform, because that's what she loved. That's her equivalent of drawing comics. So when I see her not get that, it makes me feel like a hole is being ripped in my soul. And it's probably because I overthink things, and she's much more resilient than I am. And if you're watching this, Emily, go to bed. But so to the past weekend, we went to Ohio. We had a great time. Emily performed her own solo. She won big awards. I don't have a list in front of me, but trust me, she won a bunch. She did a great job. She had her first duet with her new duet partner, and one with her old duet partner. So she won big with the old duet. She's won a big trophy with the new duet. And the kids are really, really proud. And I'm proud of the awards. I'm proud of the trophies and the plaques, the ribbons and the buttons and pins. But I'm more proud that they put their all into this. This is the best I've seen these kids dance, and I've been doing this, like I said, with her about 10 years. The whole team is amazing. I've never seen heart like I saw these kids leave on that stage in Ohio, and it's amazing to me. A lot of judges commented that they didn't even know these kids, but when they saw them put their emotion out there, they felt for them. They did their usual. They did a senior tribute for the four senior teens that are graduating this year and be moving on, and they always do a real heartfelt, like, "We'll miss you" kind of song. Where they have the whole team get together and the little kids looking up to the big kids and they're saying goodbye, but it's not goodbye. And the song was actually called "This Is Not Goodbye." It was really awesome. It was really heartfelt. It was something that touched everybody that saw it. Um, and so I was proud of that. I'm more proud of that than I am any of the trophies and awards. And I love the pats on the back. I love the awards. And these kids win a lot of them. That's great. But I mean, the thing that really gets me is watching them perform, watching them move somebody, move other people, seeing other people from other studios that are just like, whoa, where did that come from? How do all these little kids bring this emotion out of me? It's the most sensitive stuff. They took on some real social issues, some topics like human trafficking, and they do things about bullying, and they've done songs about racism. I mean, they just tackle these social issues. These kids really take a bite out of that, man, and tug at your heartstrings, and not for show and not for glitz or to score points. I mean, they really care about these things. These kids are activists in their own life. They do, when they're not doing dancing, they're doing fundraising and do money for causes and stuff. So, um, something I love deeply about Shining Star Dance Academy is that they teach these kids to be good people, and these are good, strong, heartfelt people. They're human. They're all human. They make mistakes, and they're teens, a lot of them, and so and tweens and all ages, like 5 to 18. But they're amazing human beings. So that's where I was last weekend, and I didn't think ahead that I planned my Kickstarter to be ending right in the middle of that weekend. Now I'm a prop dad, so I'm backstage and I'm helping set things up and move props. And when I'm not there, I'm in the studio in the audience watching dances because it's amazing. I'm the kind of guy that likes to watch dancing. I watch dance shows at home. So if we're paying all this money to go to a national dance competition, and I get to see other studios that I've never seen before and dancers compete that I've never gotten the chance to see, and I will never get the chance to see from all over the country. Hell yeah, I'm gonna take the chance to do that. So I sit there sometimes for 4 or 5 hours and just watch dancers. And it's freaking amazing, man. And I love that about these comps. It's one of the things we do that I'm happy that we can do for Emily, is to give her exposure to other styles and other kind of things, and also to let her see that other dance studios are the same as ours. And I didn't mean that in a disparaging way. I mean, but I mean, every studio's got their things and their kids and they're normal. And if we're not, nobody's better or worse than anybody else just because of where you come from. If we lived in Ohio, we might very well be one of those studios. Emily would be dancing in one of those studios. Now I will say all day long that Shining Star is very particularly special, and it is. But also, just because we're this awesome special studio doesn't mean that other studios aren't awesome and special as well. So this whole like universal dance community, it's a beautiful thing to go and see. So I love getting to do that. And what we've missed this past year and a half, 2 years really since the last comp, was getting to experience that. So even the small shows that we did do, and they went to some shows and didn't take all the big dances because of COVID, had to wear masks or had to limit your capacity or how many props you had. We didn't get that full experience. So last weekend was the full thing, man. It was all on. Like, and we're all like vaxxed and relaxed, feeling no pain and hanging out and being normal. And man, it was just so nice to be normal. And it was nice to let my kid be normal. She was double vaccinated. She just passed her 2 weeks, so she's fully um as protected as she can be. I mean, nothing maybe 100%, but we're past that point of the pandemic where we're worried about being exposed and around other people. At the very least, the statistics show you're at least not going to get sick or too sick or deathly ill. At least not very likely. Not more than anything else. And I mean, nothing's 100%. I could, I'll say, I could get hit by a car going outside. I could, you know, I've had friends that had, things has happened to them out of the blue, once in a million, 1 in a million shot. But I don't invite danger, so we've been trying to be very careful this whole year and a half, and we've been lucky not to have had any serious illness in our immediate family here. To that end, like my parents got vaccinated, her parents got vaccinated, so we're doing stuff with the family again. We just had Fourth of July, Fourth of July, like a real Fourth of July with cookout and everything, and nobody worrying, right? Friends and relatives from out of town. And everybody got their shots, and nobody's having to worry about hanging around being too close. And that was one thing that was hard for me, was missing things, or if I was around people, just feeling like, oh man, not sure if we should be doing this, or not sure, are we too close? Even if we're outdoors, we did a couple of, when it first started, we had a whole outdoor camp out or cookout kind of thing, and we brought like a little tent, and we stayed outdoors and under our tent, and I was still stressing about being in too close proximity. That was early on before we knew a lot about this damn virus. But all right, I'm not going to talk about COVID a lot though. Let's stop that. That's no fun. So Emily's going to kill me. So hopefully she's not watching because she likes to fight me, and she's getting big now. She's almost big as me, so it's harder to beat her up. This is my girl right here. She's gonna hate that, but she's wearing my hat, my glasses, Jace Peglow's jacket, and it's her old man costume from her solo. And the musical solo she did is called "The Song That No One Likes." And in the song, she plays a character who is an old man doing this, and it's a theater piece. It's more lip syncing and acting than actual dancing, but it combines the both, and it's really fun. And she's happy about it. She's glad to be done with it though. It was her solo when she started, like right before COVID, and then we had her perform it at a friend's studio. Well, the friend studio invited us to their recital because our studio was shut down. Shining Star was closed because of COVID, and our friend's studio figured out a way to do an outdoor recital, and uh, was bummed that Emily was never gonna, as far as we knew, never gonna get to do that solo. So my friends at Envision, thank you to Jen and Lee and Bob in Burton, Michigan, at Envision Dance Studio for letting Emily come and perform a couple of songs there with her. It's really, and again, that's your dance community right there. That's people who aren't from here but are just like us. So love that, love them, good friends, and so Emily got to do this cool dance, and it's a fun theatrical piece, and that's where she shines. I don't know where she gets it from, but she likes to do theater, and she's a hell of an actress, and she embraces it, and she got to do it there, and we thought that was it. And then she got invited to we got to do another small comp, and then we thought that was it. And then not one more, and that was it. And then recital. So in the past 2 years now, she's done this same. She's been doing the same solo for quite a while now. Even though she competes it and she does well, and every time she does it, man, she does like new stuff. She adds little things to it. So she's ready to move on, and I want her to keep doing it because it gets better every time. But I'm a dad, so what do I know? Um, she's gonna hit me for this, but this is the same story here. She had this duet she was doing last 2 years ago for doing it before COVID, and they ended up when we restarted this year. They didn't redo everything. We used the stuff that we had choreographed and costumes we paid for from before, as much as anybody could fit into them, because these kids are all growing. We So she did this other duet. She got to wear a dress. Oh, pretty beautiful dress. Look at that. Sucker was literally falling apart on stage during recital. We had to trim it up a little bit because it's a little older. It's been through some stuff, but it looks great on stage. She did a great job. A whole list of stuff. If you're down with Shining Star, you can find out at their page or just ask me. I can get you a list of all the stuff she's won. As a beaming proud dad, I could talk about that forever. So back to point why I brought it up. That's where I was during that time. Now my Kickstarter was going, and a fundraiser for a comic book is a. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a hell of a thing, man. And particularly if you don't have a producer or a team behind you or a publicist or somebody with more experience maybe than me is all, because this has only been my second Kickstarter, and the first one I was in way over my head. So we hit this one, blew it away. Kickstarter went really well. So the last few days are a really hard time. Like the last few days of a Kickstarter are like where you get nervous. Are you going to make these goals? Now we had made our goal, but I had another goal. My problem is I kept moving the goal post. I kept thinking, well, okay, we can do this. I'd like to do that. I can do this. I'll do that too. And you always want to strive for more. I was never quite happy with just what I had. So on top of all the stuff we were doing this weekend, I was also having this Kickstarter on my mind, and it ended on Monday. You may or may not have seen the video I made. Made my wife shill for me a little bit, and she got us over the top because after the big weekend, we ended up with an extra day off, and we decided, since we're in Ohio, to stop by Cedar Point. Emily's never been to Cedar Point, never rode any big roller coasters, So we wanted to make a day of that. So we did. Boy, we did, man. So we went to Cedar Point, went on some crazy rides. I'll post pictures later. In fact, I want to do another video soon with more preparation. I just decided last minute to do this because I've been feeling like I shut down after the busy weekend and the Kickstarter. Kickstarter took a lot out of me because you don't just you don't just let it coast, you know. I was constantly checking it and posting about it and trying to promote it, promote myself, doing videos on every social media possible. And even now, as much as I thought I was doing, there are people that didn't know I had a Kickstarter going because there's only so much outreach you can do. You're never going to reach everybody. So I was trying to do as much emailing and as much Kickstarter updates and posting on all the social medias because I have the Angel's Blood page and the Ken Lenar page and the Ken's Comics page and the Spring River page. So there's Facebook and there's Twitter and there's all this stuff. So I was just busting my ass trying to make sure every single person I could get to see the Kickstarter saw it. Is it because I'm trying to sell to you and I want your money? No. Matter of fact, it's not. And that's weirdly because that's how I feel. Like I feel like I'm just trying to shill my comics and stuff. And it's really not that I want to sell stuff. It's that I want to reach people. Um, so I hope that I haven't been entirely too pushy because it does come off sometimes a little like I want to, or like I feel like a used car salesman, like I'm trying to push something on you that you don't want. And I am not. There are friends of mine out there that love me and support me and do not give a shit about my comics. And that is fine. You know, comics is a very special thing. And even in the realm of that, Angel of Blood is a very particular thing. Some comics are for like superhero style. Some comics are science fiction. Another comic I'm doing is a teen, eco-friendly superhero team comic. I mean, but Angel's Blood is a dark story. It's a black and white comic for the most part, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. So for those that put up with me, great, thank you. For those that back me, thank you. Look, we ended up with 42 people that were actual backers. And that is for the audience that I started with, statistically, that's about where I expected to be. It's a little above where I expected, honestly. We ended the last Kickstarter with 38 people, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not, but it's a little bit being that I was starting from scratch, and I'm happy with it. We doubled our goal, which means I'm going to get to make all the stuff I wanted to make, and I'm just running the numbers now, seeing how many copies I can make. Can I make 50 of this book or 50 of that book? We're doing variant covers and sketch covers and t-shirts. Hey, I went back to talking about my comics, but I just opened a t-shirt store, and I gotta tell you, this is driving me crazy how much I love this. But I'm making Ken's Comics t-shirts, um, pretty much just because I like t-shirts. Although the thing about this site that I'm really happy about is that you can open up an online store and it's free. There's no charge, and you just pay per shirt, and it's on demand. So I don't have to print a bunch of shirts, which was my problem before. I print a bunch of things or print a bunch of shirts, and I'm stuck with them, or have to come up with a bunch of money up front. So this is going to allow me to do some stuff like that, offer some stuff if people are interested. I mean, I'm going to rock me one of those Ken's Comics shirts at the next convention I do. A lot of people, though, have been interested in stuff about like the Angel's Blood Hulk variant here, this Jack Kirby homage. So I got that going on. Again, I am literally not trying to sell you stuff. I just don't do that. But I do want to expose people to things, and I like people that I like reaching people. So in that vein, there's more. I got more. I got more stuff. I'll tell you about the cool stuff I've been up to. You may have seen last time, so we talked about this Kirby homage. I got posters. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we got posters. So that's my Angel's Blood Jack Kirby homage poster. Um, we're gonna do a variant cover of that. Ted Davies is getting one. I just want you to shout you out there, Ted, because Ted specifically wanted that, and it was something I was gonna offer for the stretch goal, but I decided to not. I was scared that we weren't gonna make that second goal, so I was like, let's just do it. Let's just say I'm gonna print 24 copies of this book with this cover. I already had the posters made. I already had the art done. I mean, 90% of everything was done for this book before we even launched the Kickstarter. So there's not much for me to do. I've been tinkering a little bit. with the pages and the numbering and the thank yous and just tweaking stuff. But I mean, the art is all done. We're going to do that color splash edition. Let me show you here, like I've been talking about. The Angel's Blood book was originally fully black and white. Now we're going to take and color the line art. Why the line art? Because I'm a line artist, okay? I'm an inker by trade, not a colorist, although I can color, but I don't consider myself a colorist. So just because I can color stuff doesn't mean I like to or that it's my strength. What my strength lies in is line art and inking. So when I do color, I do like this, and I do color splashes on the line art, which I think make for an interesting story. I like the book. I love black and white art. I think if you do it well, it can tell a story and create a different mood. But there is also something to be said for popping some color on there and getting just a little bit of a different vibe. And I'm going to print both versions of this book. Will be available because I like that, And honestly, if we're not here to make stuff that we like, what the hell are we doing? I basically make stuff that I want to see. So I made some poker chips. Why? They're just cool. I don't even play poker. It's not like I have a set of these, or well, I do have a set, but they're going to be they're Kickstarter rewards. So some of you that backed at the or selected the poker chips on our Kickstarter will be getting these little bad boys. They got the Ken's Comics logo on one side and the Angel's Blood logo on the other. I love those a bunch. You didn't see that very well, so I'm going to put that up here. Here's what they look like. That's the design. Tremendous fan of these. I just like stuff that's fun and cool. And some people don't, but I'm a collector of things. So I like weird little collectible stuff. I got a gigantic stack. This is only a quarter of them, but I got all of these art prints made. So I have a habit of doing art prints on 4x6 like photos, and they just come out a really neat size for a tiny piece of artwork. I got a bunch of stuff. I got some made for Midnight Eternal. Of course, I've got Hulks. I've got random stuff. I got a whole bunch of Angel's Blood. So I got a bunch of art prints made. I got poker chips made. I got new posters made. I got stickers made. Oh, we got these Angel's Blood. See, there's a demon right there, right in your crosshairs. All right. It's the only part of the Angel's Blood Zero that got colored was just one image because I just thought it looked slick. It's not something I wanted the book to really be. Not full color. I like full color for some things. And there might be a time when the Miller story deserves full color, but it's not right now. Got packing tape. Oh, man, did I get pack? I got Ken's Comics packing tape. All right, that's just a vanity thing right there. I won't even lie. What else we got for you? Some people selected the extras for my rewards, and I have books upstairs, other copies of Spring River, The Citizen, many of the books that are available on my Indie Planet page. Just search my name, my last name on Indie Planet, and you find all my books, at least the self-published books. But this was a publisher book. I got permission from the great people at Dark Recesses Press to offer Run. This is a book that it's a children's book, very cute. Check it out. A lot of fun. Look, kid wears Converse. Everybody likes Converse. Okay, maybe just me. It's been a beautiful ride with this book, and the sequel is coming very soon. We got plans this year to do a sequel to this book. So I've been talking to the writer Vince Churchill about how we're going to bring that into the world. I'm loving that. So thank you. If you get Angel's Blood, you may be getting one of those. I've got more copies of the prequel edition. Now this is the grandfather to the Zero Project. This is with art by the great Ken Bastard, not Ken Lenar, different Ken. Nice guy who was kind enough to give me a fair rate. First thing, I hired my friends, my artists, to do the variant covers because I'm really not the guy that wants to do a bunch of stuff for free, especially if I know these guys are freelancers like me. But I got posters from this is an old poster of Lubasan. Lubasan did another piece for us that we're getting posters made of. This is the art that is going to end up being a cover. Changing the title here. This is going to be the cover for the Zero Project. And when I send that in, that's what that cover is going to look like. One more poster. And this, of course, the Angel's Blood #1 poster. We're gonna have a bunch of those. I still have some of those. We're gonna get more. I do have a copy of Citizen down here. Check it out. This book from Polar Bear Comics. The Polar Bear, Jason Mansfield. Now, I will find and post the address and the links because Polar Bear just opened a pop culture store where they're selling this book in person. And Jason Mansfield was the writer. Uh, nice guy, hired me a long time ago to draw this book, and it's had quite a history. And maybe another day on another podcast, I'll tell that story. Um, got a bunch of stuff. That's a bunch of stuff. All right, this is my amateur hour. I have been talking for a long time now, and I don't mean to ramble, and I didn't mean for this to be very long. I've just been feeling some kind of way since coming back, and I felt like I wasn't good enough, ready enough, prepared enough to do any more of these shows. These little streams that I do from my basement. And what I found was, as I did some soul searching and recharged myself from the there it is, recharged myself from the weekend and from um, the Kickstarter. Um, was that it doesn't matter if I'm ready. Nothing ever matters if you're ready. If I Everything I've ever done that was important, if I waited till I was really ready, I wouldn't have got done. As I look back, the things that I did that meant the most were things that I wasn't ready for. I was not ready to get married. I was not ready to propose. And someone convinced me to just take that leap. I wasn't sure we were ready to buy a house, wasn't ready to have a kid. But at some point, you just have to say, man, if you wait till you're completely comfortable, a lot of stuff won't happen. So that's a big scale. I'm talking about a little stupid show that nobody literally is watching right now. And maybe you're watching later, maybe not. And it's just me getting back into my groove. And because I've got more coming and I want to get comfortable talking again. And it's one of those things, the more I put it off, the longer it's going to be before I do it again. I love bringing my art to the world. Okay. I love making art. I love sharing it. That's half of what social media is for. I don't really do cat memes. I don't like those Kermit the Frog tea sipping things. I don't go in for a lot of social media crap, but I do love to share my art with the world. And so I make it, I share it. I'm hoping somebody appreciates it or at least enjoys it. And if you don't, scroll on by, that's okay. I really don't need to push it on anybody. I am not kidding when I say I'm not a salesman. And I don't want to sell, I never want to sell my stuff to anybody that doesn't want it. So, if I'm being too pushy, I do not feel offended if you scroll on by. I've had people unsubscribe from my mailing list, good friends that just didn't really want to hear about it anymore. And that's okay too, because that's you don't need that part of me. I mean, you can still be friends, and you don't have to be someone that I'm telling about my comic books. I'm some of my closest friends that have nothing to do with my comics, and that's okay. But if you do want to pay attention to my art and my comics, that's what all this is about. That's what I'm here for. So before I go, I'm going to line up one more thing because I've been asking the social media circle through this survey that I put out what I should do next, because I've got three major things on top of the freelancing I've been doing. And the next project coming out is a freelance project, but I want to keep doing Kickstarters because I mean, as much work as it is, it's actually kind of fun. And it's a good way that I think to get my work out to the world without going broke myself doing it. And I want to use it to build more of an audience so that more people can see my work. Because the only reason I want to keep putting work out there is so that more people can see it. The only reason that I even need to make money to doing art is so I can make more of it. I need it to be, self-sustaining and not a drain on me. Um, so the next thing I'm going to do is one of three things, and I'm going to tell you about them right now. I have a children's book lined up. I have an art book. Whether you call it art book or sketchbook, I'm not sure. I'm going to call it an art book though, but some people call their collection just sketchbook. It's not just going to be sketches to me though, so it's finished art. So children's book, art book, comic book, three things. All right. I just ran double successful Kickstarter for a dark comic book. The next comic book that I want to do, um, personally, um, and I've been approached by a couple of people, so I mean, it's maybe up in the air as to which one wants to get there first. Um, but the next comic book I want to do is more a traditional comic and not so much of a dark, mature rated book. So, straight up, it doesn't quite follow the genre, but it does appeal to maybe the same kind of audience. So the next thing I want to do is a comic book. I just came off a Kickstarter for comic books. Maybe I want to do that next, right? Or because there are some issues with doing that book as far as time, and it's going to take longer for me to complete that book. And I'd like to run a Kickstarter soon for something that is closer to being done or can be done faster. They have what's called a quick starter, which is something that you run for a short amount of time with a low goal just to get something going out there, and it just has to be something that can be put out in like 90 days. And there's some restrictions on it, but it's also a pretty fun endeavor. Um, so for the quick starter, maybe if I do one of those, I'm thinking of one of the other two projects. Now the sketchbook, the art book, is going to be a comic style book of variety of things, all original and all stuff that I at least have the permission, if not the full rights to, because it's gonna be stuff I've worked on or stuff I'm gonna work on, stuff that I have permission for, pin-ups or some pages, but it's not gonna be sequential art. Mostly, it's just gonna be comic-related art. So it's basically a gallery book, a portfolio kind of Ken's art, stuff from me, and either stuff that's not licensed or generic stuff like dragons or demons or superheroes that are not specific to something. So it's a general Ken's art book. So I'm kind of want to do something like that, full color, not a dark story, nothing that you can't show your kids. Um, so that's the second. But the third one is a very personal book to me, and I'm not going to go into it too much, except to say it's a very special children's book. It's fully written. It's been run through an editor, and it's something that's important to happen, and so it's going to happen one way or another in the coming year. I fully plan to do it. It's a cute book. It's called Snuggle Chair, and I'll tell the story on another stream. But basically, though, it's an important story. It's a cute story, and I don't just make comic books. I'm sort of an artist that does a lot of things. And I know you're supposed to pick a lane and stick to it, but I just don't have a lane. I get pigeonholed into things because I like what I do, but I also have done children's books before. Um, and I'm going to continue to do. I'm doing another issue of Run, another extension of Run. So I'm looking at either doing a really good, cute children's book that I could get illustrated and published in 90 days. Um, a sketchbook that I could probably do in 30 days, and I think part of that is I want to take some art that I have and maybe do some new art, maybe take some requests on these shows and do something fun that people could get behind and support like that, or another regular comic book. Um, I'm going to keep making these things, and all three of these are coming in the next 12 months. I'm just trying to figure out which should be next. Do I want to do another comic and build on my comic audience, or do I want to do something artsy? Because a lot of my audience is people that support me because of who I am, and maybe not totally diehard comic book fans. Or do I want to do the children's book and reach into a whole new audience on Kickstarter? Kickstarter children's books do great. And if my art's any good and the story is very good, I have full confidence in the story. I didn't write it. I'll tell that story later. It's a good book. So I don't know. Hit me up in the comments. Talk to me personally. Talk to me privately. I'll also post my survey. Respond to the survey. Do something. Thank you guys for listening to me. I know I've rambled a lot. That's what I do. If you ever watch my streams, I ramble. Um, I care about what I do and I care about what I put out in the world. I care about my family and I care about your family. I care about you and reaching you. And I do that through art. I do that through art. And some of these times, these videos are an expression or extension of that. I love sharing it with you. I thank you for paying any attention at all if you paid attention. Sorry this went so long. Um, I'm going to do more. This was me getting back on the horse. I'm going to get back to my regular schedule of Mondays at noon and try and do a Friday one as well. So hopefully I can do one this Friday. Hopefully, I'll do one. I will be back on Monday. I need to set up and do my live sketching. If you have any questions, any comments, anything at all, come at me because I'm back and I'm ready to take on the next chapter, fulfilling my Kickstarter. Everything's ready to go there, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. Get some sleep. Be well. Have a nice night. Yep.